evening, hockey fans. Welcome to Winsport Arena here in Calgary, Alberta tonight. It is seniors night here for the SAIT Trojans. They are going to be taking on the University of Alberta, Augustana, in the second half of a back-to-back, coming off of a 3-3 tie last night in Camrose. I'm Brett Lipkowski. I'm going to have the call for you tonight alongside my good friend Brendan Donald. Brendan, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. And this is going to be a really fun, exciting night. Both of these two teams, when they get at each other and play each other, for whatever reason, they just seem to get a little bit extra spicy, and they like to go into the penalty box. 60 penalty minutes for these SAIT Trojans last night, a handful of 10-minute penalties. So it's going to be really, really exciting to see, especially on seniors night. You know, one thing, talking with Josh, the assistant head coach, he said sometimes Ambrose, they like to get a little bit mouthy with the boys, and sometimes, as we all know, SAIT can get a little bit back. So it's going to be interesting tonight on seniors night to see what kind of happens and see what kind of energy these two teams bring, but I'm expecting a fun hockey game.
Yeah, me too. The fourth and final meeting between these two teams this season, SAIT taking the first two of the year, and then of course, as we mentioned last night, coming home with a 3-3 tie. You know SAIT wants to come home and end the season series without letting Augustana pick up a win.
Yeah, and making that final push, especially this late in the season, they have a playoff spot without a doubt locked up, but they want to end the season on a high note. You never want to end the season with a couple of losses. That is not something you want to do. Obviously, picking up that tie last night, that's not exactly what they want. They had a couple of really, really hard-fought battles last week against Camrose, and so now they just want to finish strong.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a great night here. We're going to honor the 6 seniors who are playing their final game for SAIT tonight before SAIT heads on the road next weekend to play Briarcrest for 2 straight to finish off the regular season. We're going to have puck drop in about 10 minutes time after we do the player ceremony here for the 6 seniors.
Yeah, I just gotta do this first. Anthem and then that one. Good. At this time, we would like to congratulate some of the graduating players who will be moving on from the SAIT Trojans following the completion of this season. These players have epitomized the courage, determination, and respect it takes to be a SAIT Trojan student-athlete, and we thank them for their efforts on and off the ice. Bachelor of Business Administration program, Carson Welke. Wait till he's here. Now? Mackenzie Welke. I don't know how long you want me to wait, so. Okay. Tayden Ratty. Dylan Williamson. Sorry. Graduating from Civil Engineering Technology, Chase Felgeris. And graduating from Architectural Technologies, Cam McAdam. Please join us in congratulating these Trojans on this fantastic achievement. SAIT Trojans Athletics and Recreation Department thanks Carson, Mackenzie, Tayden, Dylan, Chase, and Cam for their commitment to excellence while at SAIT, and we wish them all the best in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll now ask you to rise if you're able to do so and remove your headwear for the singing of the national anthem.
Welcome back to Winsport Arena. The anthem has been sung, the players are ready, and we are just about underway here for Puck Drop. I'm Brett Lepkowski, and I am so happy to be back on the mic here on ACAC TV, calling some men's hockey here tonight in Calgary. I'm joined by Brendan Donald. Brendan, what are the keys to victory tonight for these SAIT Trojans?
Well, for these SAIT Trojans, I touched on in the little bit of the pregame show, they need to stay out of the penalty box. We've known this team. Sometimes they can get a little hot and heavy, and when they do, they just need to make sure that they keep a cool, level head, especially going up against this team, which they seem to love to get penalty minutes on. So that tonight is the key to victory, but also playing a full 60 minutes. That's one thing that we've always said about this team. They need to make sure that they play a full, consistent 60 minutes.
Absolutely. SAIT coming into this one with a 13-7-1 record, good enough to sit in second place in the ACAC, while Augustana right in the middle, 10-7-2 for 4th out of 7. Both teams gearing up for the playoffs coming up in just a few weeks as we are now underway here at Winsport. It is the Vikings trying to control and get it out of their zone, but it's held in. McAdam now behind the net. Gonna try to center it, broken up. Now it's going to be the Vikings just throwing it deep and all the way to the other end of the ice for an icing call early on.
Yeah, right now, again, early shift. One thing you want to do is you want to set the pace for what today's game is going to look like. And right now, for both of these teams, what they don't want to do is let anything go away too early. This is a chess match. They need to remember, don't show your hand right away, especially not in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, you're absolutely right here. We got a great goaltending matchup tonight as well between Boston Billis and I believe that's Daniel Moody in net for the Vikings. These two matched up last night. Two of the top goalies in the ACAC.
Yeah, Boston Lewis, he is just a phenomenal goaltender. He's one of those guys that next year could easily be considered the premium goaltender inside the ACAC.
Absolutely, you are correct. He has been just such a big part of this SAIT Trojans team this year. As this back to the point, Shivas sends it down low. Trenum all the way back. It's Casey now, just dumping it down low for Machado. Trenum now on it as we have this top line of the Trojans trying to make some noise early on. Back to the point now once again for Casey. He's got a little bit of space, finds some room. Tipped, but deflected wide. Carrier now just throws it along the backboard. Some good offensive pressure here early on from the Trojans.
Yeah, it has been really, really good pressure, but they're not trying to do too much here, Brett. What they're doing is they're setting things up. It's almost like in football when you're starting out with a run game early. It's just slow body punches.
Absolutely. Brandon Machado now fighting behind the net. 2 Trojans down low as this top line tries to establish themselves early here. Puck was kept in, but a whistle blown. Believe it was a hand pass on the play. And we finally get a whistle for the Vikings, who needed that one after being just hemmed in their own zone there for a solid minute.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that we've seen a lot from the SAIT Trojans team throughout the year, is when they get on you, they can typically stay on you. They're almost like a tiger. Once they get on, they do not let go, and it is hard to go against. But unfortunately, sometimes that can almost backfire from them because they get too confident in that ability. So they just need to make sure that they don't try to force things to happen.
Centering pass in front. Billis, though, able to cover it up for a whistle. We were talking about Boston Billis just a little bit earlier, and we were saying what an improvement he has been for this Trojans team after they really struggled between the pipes last season.
Yeah, we talked about this so much coming into this year, having 2 freshman goaltenders, Boston Lewis and Spencer Welke. These are 2 guys that you really needed to test early. Boston obviously has a little bit more of that pedigree with the WHL experience and obviously winning the championship last year in the SJHL. So having a goaltender like that with that playoff experience, with that extra high level, and he wanted to come here as well. So that is also another big thing that helps out.
Yeah, you'd love to see that from the former Estevan Bruin, as it's now the Vikings skating it up through center ice, trying to gain the zone as Ford. Nice little drive there, and they're able to just get it down low, but unable to keep control. It's going to be Carson Welke, one of the 6 seniors for this Trojans team tonight, playing their final regular season game here at home. As Good Johnson now picks it up in the neutral zone, receives the puck back again, but it's lost, and now it's Zach Cox firing it, just missing. Cox trying to pick up where he left off last night, where he scored a goal against the Vikings, but unable to put one past there.
Yeah, right now the boys are in the corner, talking a little bit about their weekend plans without a doubt. Referee saying, you know what, let's not talk about all the food we're gonna get back to hockey. But yeah, again, great shot. Cox is such a dangerous goal scorer for this team. You know, coming into today's game, taking a look at some of his stats, he has 11 goals on the season. With the puck on his stick, he is so dangerous.
Absolutely, especially on the power play where he has 5 of those 11 goals coming with the extra man. Good enough to be tied for first in the ACAC with power play goals. The only person he's tied with his own teammate, Zach Huber. Face off.
You know what? That's really a good thing to have 2 of the top goal scorers, but they also are really smart on the defensive end as well.
Face off inside the Vikings blue line. Won and controlled by the Trojans. Cox trying to center it for Welke, unable to throw it in front of the net. Vikings now come the other way. Broken up through center. Picked up now by the captain, Mackenzie Welke. He's got Cox with him. Mackenzie throws it across, but it's broken up by the Vikings. Crucial defensive play there to keep the Trojans off the board.
Yeah, that was a great back check by the Vikings. That is exactly what you needed to do. When those 2 guys get matched up in that situation, more often than not, it ends up in the back of the net.
Both teams trying to control the puck here in the neutral zone. Finally able to control it are the Vikings. They tip it in deep. Boston comes out to play it. Billis, nice patience there, but he does turn it over. Centering pass, scramble in front of the net. Trojans able to finally come away with it now. And it's Cox bringing it over the blue line. Trying to throw it towards the front of the net as Cam McAdam was rushing towards the paint there. Chivas now.
He has such a beautiful stride, especially from the defense end. Again, when we were having our conversation with assistant coach Josh, he said this is a guy that could easily play forward. They will never play him at forward just because he is so good on the defensive end. But we talk about going back to like those 60s, 70s. There was a position that's no really longer in hockey, the utility player. Something that we could easily see, like Cale Makar play. Chivas plays this role for this team.
Absolutely. Chivas tied for first in the ACAC for points among defenders with Augustana's own Tavis Roque, both with 16 points on the season. Very impressive for a D-man, nearly averaging a point a game for both of them.
And you know what? That we always like to talk about the point per game stuff and like the high-end points for defenders. But the biggest thing about Chivas is that he's so good on the defensive battle. If he doesn't want to move up or try to get that offensive battle here as Williams comes in.
Leaving it for McAdam, trying to throw it towards the net. Unable to get onto the end of it was Chase Miller, but he wins the puck back, throws it around the boards. It's going to be picked up by Jack Hamley. He had a goal last night for the Vikings in that tie. Streaking down the ice. Jack Hamley, an eye for goal. He's got 8 on the season. Tied for the team lead. His centering pass misses. And it's going to be Siemens who has to go all the way back to retrieve for the Vikings, who tip it right back in.
Yeah, Jackson Siemens for this Augustana in the ACAC, so he's quite experienced, to say the least.
Knows the league well. Vikings now trying to set something up. Centering pass, broken up by Trenum, and now here comes this first line of the Trojans. Machado on the right, goes all the way across. Trenum tries to go back for Machado, didn't see it coming. Picking it up though was Casey. He tries to throw towards the net. Centering pass, trying to find Zach Ziegler, but just unable to get onto the end of that one.
Yeah, Zach Ziegler unfortunately just couldn't quite get that. That was a bouncy puck. He almost looked like he had to try to play baseball on that one with that whack attempt. But really good pressure here by the SAIT Trojans team early on, having a few moments of like, uh-oh, in their own zone, but they're able to recover quickly.
Absolutely. Nearly 6 minutes gone here, 14-10 still to go in the opening period. A lot of high energy from both of these teams as they really try to get ahead early here and try to feel each other out on the second night of this back-to-back. Stollery gets the play going here. Wieshorster able to get onto it. Wieshorster drives to the net. Shot broken up by Ziegler. Great defensive play there. Comes back to the point, but it's held in. Sent down low. Good Johnson, but we've got a arm up. We're going to have a penalty called as Ziegler is down. It looks like it was a high stick. And it looks like it's going to be, I believe, number 2 here for the Vikings. I believe that is Jacob Charco.
Yeah, Jacob Charco, he's going into the box. Might have potentially been an elbowing call, high stick elbowing. All we know is that we saw Zach Ziegler immediately reach for his face. He looked like he was in pain, so hopefully we're able to see him come back as he is so good in the defensive end.
Time now for this SAIT power play. First in the league, 27%, 23 out of 85 on the year. Carrier goes all the way across. Machado, he fires, and he scores for the opening goal. Only 5 seconds into the power play, and the fan loves it. Trojans go up 1 early.
Yeah, Brandon Machado, obviously he leads the ACAC in points. He is just an absolute firecracker, getting his 30th point of the year, his 11th goal. So now he's up in that conversation for being tied in the ACAC for the most goals. Just an absolute beautiful shot. He put that top cheddar.
Absolutely brilliantly set up tic-tac goal for the Trojans, who find themselves with still 2 more minutes of power play time from the high-sticking double minor. Carrier and Trenum picking up the assists on that. What a beautiful feed that was cross ice by Carrier to set that one up. As these the same top power play unit for the Trojans gonna stay out there. Carrier bringing it in. Down low, they battle for it. Puck is sent out to center. Chasing after it was Ripley for the Vikings. but the Trojans able to get back on it. Centering pass from Machado went off his skate. It's going to be easily sent all the way to the other end of the ice. Billis comes out to claim it. Nice little backhand play there by the goalie, who's got 2 assists on the season.
Yeah, Boston, he's a very, very active goaltender. He always loves to be around the puck.
Chivas now, he's going to walk in. Patient, down low to the circle, along the half boards, throws it back, but no one's there, and it goes all the way to the other end of the ice, where the captain, Mackenzie Welke, has to come back for it. But we're going to have a call on the play, as it looks like there's a high sticking call coming back the other way.
Yeah, this is going to be Dylan Clark coming into the penalty box. He is looking over at the referees, asking what is possibly happening on that one. Dylan Clark, so far this year, this is going to be his now 33rd total penalty minute on the season.
Yeah, unfortunate way there, and it is going to be a double minor. It's going to be 4 minutes for Clark, who does not like the call whatsoever. And now it's going to be 4-on-4 hockey for the next 49 seconds, and then SAIT's going to have to bring its top-rated penalty kill out onto the ice here. First in the league this season as well on both sides of the special teams, 85.1% killing off penalties.
Yeah, well, one thing that we do see a lot from this SAIT Trojans team is they do occasionally like to get 1 or 2 penalties throughout a game. But they make up for that in having an excellent penalty kill. And you know what? There's only one way to get better at the penalty kill, and that's by doing it. And they have just been so successful this year.
Absolutely. Don't tell Coach Drader that. He wouldn't like that if you told him to take more penalties to get better at it.
I'm not saying take more penalties. I'm saying they've just been have just gotten really good at it.
Stollery just chips it down low for the Vikings. Good Johnson trying to battle for it. Driven into the boards was Good Johnson. Nice little work of the body there by Ziegler. There, wide. As the Vikings now find themselves a little bit of offensive zone possession, but it's turned over, and now it's going to be Miller. Gains his own, leaves it for McAdam. Down low for Miller, all the way across. Chivas tries to center that one for McAdam, but it was broken up, and now it is a power play, for the next 3 minutes now for the Vikings. We're going to have to play a little bit of chase as Chivas controls and just throws it all the way down, or Moody comes out to claim it.
One thing that I really loved on that last entry by the SAIT Trojans is Cam McAdams. He was wise enough to stop at the blue line and allow Miller to get in first, because so many times you can get a little bit too over-aggressive and you can go in, and that's just a momentum killer. Great, intelligent play by the senior.
The Welke's out there on the PK for the Trojans, as well as Chivas and Casey. There, and Carson is able to get under it and just flip it all the way to the other end of the ice. 2:20 to go on this double minor to Dylan Clark. Turned over, nearly a shorthanded opportunity there for Ty Carrier.
Going back to the penalty of Dylan Clark, one thing obviously, they love his ability and they love his skating. They just want him to clean up a little bit of the penalties. He's had a couple of those. But going forward next year, that's one of the things that they want to see come down, because they know he is just a phenomenal player, and they want him out there in all opportunities.
Ooh, nearly breakaway. Phillips, he was behind the D, but couldn't get onto the end of it.
Yeah, Conrad Phillips was absolutely looking for a Hail Mary attempt pass. I don't know why the SAIT Trojans didn't see that behind them, but sometimes players just get lost in the sauce, and but luckily for them, Conrad Phillips didn't get a clean pass on that one, and they're able to cool it down.
Still 1:45 left to go here on the Dylan Clark penalty. 10-12 to go here in the opening period, as we're just about halfway through. Trojans up 1-0 off of a power play goal by the league's leading scorer, Brandon Machado. Stollery at the point for the Vikings. Sends it back. Sudam. Blocked by Trenum. Brett Trenum, former U of R Cougar in Canada West last year. Able to get that one, sent it to Machado. Thought about going for a skate up the ice, but instead, patiently just throws it all the way down and kills off some more time on this power play. Phillips, you can see here right at our blue line, right in front of us, trying to cherry pick a little bit, waiting at that blue line.
Yeah, Chivas, he definitely noticed that last time that he was trying to pickpocket and go behind them a little bit. So he said, no, thank you, sir. I'm going to always be behind you. You're not allowed in.
Pass goes off the skate of Sudam and is going to come out of the zone. Only 1 minute to go left in the Clark penalty. Vikings dump it in and go for a change. Not a very efficient way to use your power play there as they dump it in, but no Vikings there to try and track it down. Lamb now, though, does gain the zone. His cross-ice pass misses everybody, and it's Huber. Skating up the ice, killing some more seconds, takes a body check for his work, but he'll do that anytime to help the team. As now it is the Vikings come along here. Entering the zone is Shorik. He just dumps it down low. Battle now behind the Trojans' net. Vikings do gain possession. Shorik goes across. It's Roach. Back to Shorik. Along the half boards here. Throws it behind the net. Mans now throws it back. Finally some good offensive pressure here from the Vikings. Roach's shot, though, blocked by Sidaway. Back to 5-on-5 hockey. Clark trying to enter the play. Another big shot block there by Tanner Sidaway.
Yeah, he is just such a phenomenal penalty killer on this squad. And Dylan Clark, obviously, he was right beside us in the penalty box. He was looking like he was ready to be shot out of a cannon. As soon as he got out, he was full steam ahead, and he helped that, kill off that last little bit of momentum.
Chase Valgiris dumps it down deep, and the Trojans go for a change here, get some fresh bodies on the ice. Trying to go through the defense there was Charco, but he's taken off the puck, and it's covered up by Billis.
One thing that I've really liked about this team all year long is that they seem to just have this level of consistency and just knowledge of playing with each other. So I did a little bit of digging throughout the year, and I found out that Hubert, Machado, Trentham, and Hannes all played for the same U18 AAA squad together. They also played with now your Buffalo Bills player, Peyton Krebs, all for the U18 Bison in 2016-2017. So having that consistency and knowledge of playing with each other all those years ago, it just makes it so much better when you come to this type of a level. You just have that built-in knowledge already.
Yeah, absolutely good. It's great to have that, but do me a favor, don't mention the Buffalo Sabres again today after that 7-2 shellacking at the hands of the Calgary Flames.
Well, at least my team, the Detroit Red Wings, was actually beat the Calgary Flames.
Williamson with the one-time attempt. Trojans unable to get onto the end of that one. Trojans doing a good job of keeping control of the puck in the neutral zone here in this first period. Miller doing a really good job there to keep control. Williamson just dumps it down low. Moody comes all the way out to get it. Throws it out to center, but Chivas the only person there, and the Trojans in their home blacks going to get things going from inside their own zone, and it's Chivas going coast to coast, drives a shot straight into the gut of Moody, takes a hit for his work, and Moody covers up for the whistle with 6:45 to go here in the opening frame.
Yeah, that was a great entry by Chivas. This is something that we see him do all the time, at least a couple times a period, of where he just decides to take the puck himself, turn into a forward, and take a couple of shots, and this is why he's one of the ACAC. He's just so effective with it on his stick.
You mentioned Cale Makar earlier when you were talking about him, and I think that's the perfect player to think of when you look at a player like Dylan Chivas and the way he plays the game as a defenseman.
Well, and he just skates so well too, and that's one of the reasons why he's so effective is his skating. It's no wasted motion. He just is effective with it all the time. He knows what he's doing. He can get skinny when he needs to if he's trying to get through defenders, and like what we say with Cale Makar, he's one of the best skaters in all of the NHL, and for Dylan Chivas, he's easily one of the best skaters in the ACAC.
Face-off coming inside of the Viking zone. Zach Cox trying to get out to the end of it. Zach Cox, the former Augustana Viking, played there last season, now as a member of the Trojans, one of the top goal scorers in the ACAC as that puck goes all the way to the other end of the ice. Billis comes out to play it. No harm done, though, as he Viking from.
Yeah, get a little bit risque with the puck on his stick sometimes, and that was those moments.
Really trying to pick up their forecheck here in this with 6 minutes to go. Really trying to cause a turnover. Trojans do a good job, though, of coming away with it. Casey drops it for Welke. It's Carson Welke driving to the net, crashes into the goalie, Moody. He's going to serve 2 minutes for that, for goaltender interference. Just a hard play there from Carson Welke. A little bit unlucky, I think, to come away with that penalty, but he did make contact with the goalkeeper.
Well, Brett, I think there's probably going to be multiple penalties served because some of the boys are definitely getting added. Obviously, we don't like to talk about the fights, but there is one a little bit in the corner. But
I believe
there's going to be multiple boys here heading over to the box.
Yeah, I believe that's Shivas and Hamley getting into it down there in the corner. Hamley really taking exception to that drive to the net and crashing into goaltender Daniel Moody. And you were right, Hamley is going to be heading to the box here.
I would not be surprised, Brett, if some of the boys are sent for an early shower here tonight, just because, again, they really don't like fighting, and it's something that is a part of hockey, not something that we necessarily endorse, but yeah, again, these two teams, when they get at each other, seems to be a lot of penalty minutes. Like we said at the opening of the broadcast, 60 penalty minutes for the SAIT Trojans team in last night's game. Well, tonight we've already had 4 minutes for the SAIT Trojans. We're just going to be adding more here.
Absolutely. As we figure out what the calls are going to be here, we're looking ahead to the playoffs here in the ACAC, and as it's been all season long, it looks like the road to the ACAC title is going to go through Red Deer and the Kings, as they've been almost unbeatable this season.
Yeah, Red Deer, you can sense with what they were doing last year. You knew this was going to be a good team. It's kind of like what we're seeing with the SAIT Trojans this year. They started to pick it up. They had a few things that they need to iron out, like what the SAIT Trojans team needs to do. And I have that feeling that the Trojans next year could be very similar to that Red Deer squad that is just so well coached and very talented all up and down the board.
While for the Vikings, currently sitting in 4th place in the ACAC, looks like they're going to be most likely taking on the Briarcrest Clippers in a first-round matchup. That's going to be a very interesting matchup, as Briarcrest, they've been fairly inconsistent, but when that team is firing on all cylinders, and like we saw last year in the playoffs as a number 6 seed, they ended up coming up with a huge upset in the first round. They could do it again.
Yeah, without a doubt. And, the one time that I was able to call a Briarcrest game against the SAIT Trojans, they put up a fight, and they made it really, really tricky for the SAIT Trojans team. Yes, they play inconsistent, but they can just continue to keep working, and obviously, Shivas is taking a little bit exception. Thankfully, we have the boards in between, so hopefully we can move our mics away from this and just keep talking over it.
And we're going to see, we're going to see that it's going to be the Trojans who have the power play here. It looks like Hamley's getting the only penalty on the play. I'm not sure if it was a hook or what it was, but it's going to be Shivas and Winchester heading there for offsetting roughing penalties there. But it's going to be the Trojans now picking up, which is going to be technically their 3rd power play of the game with that double minor earlier. 1 for 2 so far on the night. Machado taken out at the blue line.
One of the things I did when Moody got knocked over, I thought the SAIT Trojan player was actually pushed into him. So that's why I was a little bit confused on why SAIT looked like they were ultimately going to get the penalty, because I thought it was obviously we were pushed into Moody.
Right.
So,
but yeah, it appears you were right, as it was just a hard play there by Welke, just driving to the net, and it wasn't his fault that he crashed into the goalie. Machado now down low behind the net, is going to send it all the way around the boards. Cox now at the point, tries to send it down low, has it broken up. And of course, this Trojans team would love to have the man standing beside us, Dylan Shivas, out there on the power play right now at the point. As Trenum now gains the zone, loses the handle on it, tries to regain it. Machado now on it, he's taken down. Puck comes back to the point, it's Casey going across for Carrier. Nice deke to get around one defender, but Roach does well to recover and knock that puck away from him. But the Trojans still gain control with 40 seconds left to go on the power play. Casey, his pass cross ice is broken up. Trojans have to retreat and reset.
Yeah, again, right now, one thing that we're seeing, obviously we talked about Shivas not being out there, but again, in our conversation with assistant coach Josh Watson, he said Trenton whenever they have a few D-men down or they just want that little bit of extra defensive effort, they throw him out there as a defensive unit. He's now off the ice, but we initially saw him playing that defensive role. He is such a phenomenal two-way player. That's how much the coaching staff has in his playmaking or defensive ability.
Puck now still battling for it inside the circle there. Only 2 seconds left to go. We're going to be back to five-a-side hockey as Wieshorster comes back out on the ice for the Vikings. He's going to pick up the puck now as they enter 2-on-2. Wieshorster just sends that one straight into the waiting glove of Boston Billis with 3:33 left to go in the opening period.
Yeah, and you know what? For Boston, that's exactly the type of save that he needs to do. Just going right at his glove, making sure he catches that, not allowing a rebound. Yes, there wasn't a lot of people around him, but as goaltending coaches always say, control what you can control, and easy glove save. That's so important to make sure that these guys do.
Now, when Billis can see the puck coming at him, he's almost impossible to beat. He's got a .903 save percentage on the season, which is, he's one of only 4 goalies in all of the ACAC who have a save percentage over 900. 2 of them play for the Vikings.
Yeah, whenever you have a goaltender with a save percentage of .9 or above, you know you have something special, because that is not an easy thing to do, especially when you have the amount of shots coming in this league.
Williamson driving in, takes that shot high and over the net as he was looking to go glove side on Moody. McAdam now picks it up, leaves it for Caden Schmier, who's going to send it right back across, and they play a little give and go here inside of their own blue line.
Little hot potato action, nothing wrong with that.
Never a bad thing to move that puck around as we enter the final 3 minutes here of the opening period. Moody's going to get his glove on top of that one and cover it up as there's a little bit more extracurriculars happening as Williamson and Wieshorster.
Yeah, the boys are definitely talking about their favorite restaurants that they like to go to right now, and the referees are saying, no, let's get back to hockey, fellas. You can think about food later.
This Trojans team coming into this game, the leading the league in goals with 85 on the season, taking on this Augustana team who's only given up a league-leading 60 goals on the season. So it has been a great battle between the league's best offense and best defense here so far as we enter the final 3 minutes. Vikings just dump it down low. Ratty goes after it, stumbles into the boards there, but stays in the play. Tane Ratty from Airdrie, Alberta. Tries to spin around, drive towards the net, gets it back, leaves it one time into the glove of Billis, who flashes the leather with 2:35 to go.
Yeah, Baloo, whenever he sees that puck, he just does such a phenomenal job at just delivering and getting his body in proper position. And this is what you love to see out of an experienced goaltender like him.
Face-off coming to the right of Billis, to the left on your screen here. It's going to be Shivas controlling that one, plays it up the boards, finds Carson Welke streaking, tries to go across for Zach Cox, broken up. Nice breakout play there from the Trojans, started by Shivas. Carson Welke in the slot, controls, just tries to fire towards the net, picked up by his brother Mackenzie. Mackenzie now, he tries to wheel towards the front of the net. Able to leave it. Shivas tries to dance around a defender, has it taken off his stick, but it's held in, but only for a moment, as now here comes Smolsel entering the zone, going cross ice, finds Ripley. Ripley tries to go back across again, broken up in front of the net. It's going to be Carson Welke now getting the play going from inside of his own blue line, gains center, just throws it down towards the net. Trenum now going to chase after it. Just under a minute and a half left to go here. Nice break up there by Shivas.
He's just made a couple of phenomenal, great defensive plays in the last minute.
Machado throws it towards the net. Trenum was streaking towards the goal to try and cause a screen. Comes back to Felgiris at the point, goes across for Schmier. His shot takes a deflection wide. Back to the point again. Ty Carrier goes across. Caden Schmier from bad angle just throws it towards the net. No Trojans able to get onto it, but they continue to control, and lots of offensive zone time for this Trojans team in the first as Schmier takes a huge hit. Referee's arm goes up.
Yeah, he's currently a little bit slow to get up. If he's penalty, taking a minute to himself to get collected. He's up and moving, so it's good to see. But yeah, without a doubt, we can start to see this game is getting a little bit hot and heated. And yeah, this is one of the things that we knew kind of expecting coming into today's game. Obviously, we touched on those 60 penalty minutes yesterday. And when you play in less than 24 hours of each other and you have a game like that, you don't just immediately cool off. Like, this hatred is coming over from last night's game. You usually need multiple weeks in between these two teams playing.
Ref coming over here to the scorers table. I just saw number 40, Brett Wieshorster, head to the box as well. I don't know if he was giving him misconduct or what was going on in the play, but there's currently 2 Vikings in the box, but it is only 5-on-4. Trojans heading to the power play for the 4th time already in the first period.
What I think it was is that he might have actually left the box too early, because we did have a player in there, and I think it was actually Hamley, but they might just be replacing him.
We'll have to ask our PA guy, Christian, here during the intermission. Trojans control the puck inside the zone, but it's sent all the way back. Shiva's not there to retrieve it. Trojans 3 on the power play as Shivas throws it up for Carrier. He goes through the middle, sends it across ice for Trenum. Gonna leave it for Shivas at the point. He's got some space. Gets it back. Looking for a lane. He gets it, shoots. Stopped by Moody with 20 seconds to go in the opening frame.
Yeah, good job by Moody there, just getting over top of it. He's been peppered tonight with a bunch of really tough angle shots, and you know what? He's come up to the task. Then again, we talked about him being one of the top 4 goaltenders in the ACAC. So this SAIT team, obviously number 1 in scoring, going up against a really talented goaltender. It's been a fun battle.
Shivas at the point once again. Machado goes cross ice, but Trenum not there. Vikings going to be able to clear that puck, and with only 10 seconds left, don't think the Trojans are going to get another opportunity. As Shivas looks like he's just going to let the clock go. He does send it up for Machado, but with 2 seconds left, they're not going to get a chance here. And the buzzer is going to sound to signal the end of the first period here at Winsport Arena. Trojans taking a 1-0 lead into the break off of a power play goal coming from the league's leading scorer, Brandon Machado.
Yeah, just a phenomenal goal by him. He put that top shelf, top cheddar. And again, he's the top point getter for a reason. We knew he was going to get a goal. Right now, this period, it was very physical. It was very ugly battle. Fun one to watch, to say the least. But yeah, both squads going into the break definitely need this break. They need to cool down a little bit and just make sure that they can get cool, calm, and collected. But yeah, this was a very interesting, fun one to watch here, Brett.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a very interesting period. Got to be happy to have only given up one power play so far of their own. Killed off that double minor, which has been really key for them.
Yeah, and one thing that we do want to say, we do want to give a little bit of apologies for Dylan Chivas, potentially giving a little bit of colorful language. Hopefully that didn't come across on the air, but if it did, we do apologize for anyone listening at home. But that's one of the things that you hear in hockey. It is an emotional game. It is a fun game to watch.
Absolutely. We're going to be back for second period action in about 15 minutes time right here at Winsport Arena on ACAC TV. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to second period action coming up for you in just a minute time between the SAIT Trojans and the University of Alberta Augustana Vikings. Trojans got a 1-0 lead here after 20 minutes thanks to a power play goal off of the stick of the league's leading scorer, Brandon Machado. I'm Brett Lipkiewski. I'm joined again, once again by Brendan Donald. Brendan, strong opening 20 minutes here from the Trojans. What are they going to have to do to keep that going?
They need to make sure they keep level-headed. Obviously, there was a lot of stuff that went on during that period, but they just need to make sure they can continue that, keep cool, calm, and collected, because that's when they play their best. When they're cool, calm, and collected, they are unbeatable. And right now, they do have that 1-goal lead, so they don't want to think that they have so much, because at any given moment, Vikings can come back.
Absolutely. SAIT looking to try and hang on to and sure up that second place finish in the ACAC season. They will have an automatic bye into the semifinals. So a win tonight would be crucial here, as they still have 40 seconds left of power play time to start the period. Lots of fresh ice as well. Sometimes teams can struggle with the power play at the beginning of a period. Machado now sends it back to Chivas at the point. Thrown in front, off the stick of Cox and up and out of play. Still 26 seconds left to go in the power play.
Yeah, Dylan Chivas stealing a line from Johnny Casher. He was able to walk that line great and keep that puck in. That's one of the things that is so underrated with what he does. He just does such a great job, even when he's not in the play, putting himself in the right position to make sure that that puck doesn't go out and keep his team in the action.
Face-off controlled at the blue line by the Vikings, who are able to send it the other way. Only 15 seconds left to go here with the extra man. Machado picks up the pass at center ice. Drops it for Trenum. He's got an assist on the night already. Chivas gives it right back to Trenum. Trenum, who won an ACAC title last year with the Nate Ooks, sends it to Machado, down in front, sends it across for Cox. Bad angle, rebound, fired wide by Trenum. He had a wide open cage, but couldn't put it into the goal.
You could see him looking right up to the sky, asking how did he not get that? It almost, as soon as he felt that shot come off the stick, he almost felt like he started celebrating and then immediately saw it go wide and he was going, nope, I celebrated too early.
Minute 15 gone here in the second. Shots on goal currently 7-6 in favor of the Trojans. A lot of hard checking hockey, not a lot of shots on goal after 20 minutes.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, I'm not surprised by this, because these are these two types of teams. When they want to play this type of battle, both teams can do it well.
Absolutely, and SAIT doing a much better job on the defensive end tonight, as they did last night. Boston Billis had to make 42 saves in that tie, but of course SAIT thought they should have come away with a win after they had a goal taken off the board there from Dylan Clark late in that game last night that would have given them a win.
Yeah, and you know what? It's one of those frustrating things to have that, and what can you do? Referees, sometimes they make mistakes. They're human as well. We always like to have our songs and jokes about the referees, but they're human. They see what they see, and since we don't have instant replay and we don't really have challenges, can't really go back and say, no, you got to reverse this. And sometimes in this league, that's just the fortune of it. Maybe one day in the future, with what technology is able to do, maybe we can start to implement some of these replays.
Yeah, being a ref, hardest job in hockey.
No matter what, you're wrong.
Exactly, and they never get enough credit for the hard work they put in, as Clark driven into the boards here right in front of us. Hamley now picks up the puck. Hamley been skating with a lot of energy tonight, but he's unfortunately he's been on the score sheet for the wrong reasons for the Vikings, as he's got a few penalty minutes, as a big hit from Dylan Clark.
Well, I was going to say, there was a reason that he has a lot of energy. He's been sitting down quite a bit tonight.
Caden Schmier now for the Trojans. Inside of his own blue line, turns that one over. Ripley, nice deke around Schmier. One-time opportunity. Ripley not able to get onto the end of that one, as a good scrambling defending play, but it's fired home on the deflection. And the Vikings come out firing, and with 2:25 gone, it's gonna be Garrick Ripley leveling this match up at 1 apiece.
Yeah, Garrick Ripley, great tip off of that shot. And you know what? Boston Malou's, there's nothing you can do on that. That is easily the hardest thing to save in the game of hockey, is when you have a shot coming one way and then it gets tipped and goes a completely the other way that you weren't expecting.
At the hardest thing in the world for Cole to deflect. That's the way that teams have to beat Boston Billis, is to get bodies in front and get those deflections, and Vikings showing why it can be so effective as they tie this game up at 1. Nice little skate-to-stick play there from Casey to keep that puck in the zone, but it's going to be covered up there by Moody with 2:46 gone here in the second. 1-1 here at Winsport Arena.
Talking about one of your favorite sports, Brett, in soccer, Casey almost looked like he was a defender there, putting that puck down and getting it down, almost like what we see defenders do to bring the ball down from a high-up kick.
Welke there, unable to win that face-off over Mans. Carson Wilkie goes crashing into him. This time Casey unable to keep the puck in the zone using his skate, but it's sent back in. Wilkie on the forecheck. Cox trying to keep that one in, and he's driven to the boards here. Once again, right in front of us. Driving to the net was Carson Wilkie, and he's hit hard after the whistle. Referee's arm goes up. I think we're going to get a roughing penalty called, and it looks like the Vikings penalty troubles continue, as it looks like Bremner knew it before he was even told, as he headed straight to the box. Trojans gonna head to the power play for the 5th time already in this game.
And you know what? Could it come at a more perfect time? Because obviously allowing that goal, it kills a little bit of the momentum that you have. This is an opportunity. You've been playing so well in the Viking zone all game long. This is just a great opportunity to put yourself back in the lead if you can score.
Carrier wins the faceoff. Machado sends it back to the point. Ashivas to Trenum. Machado controls that one off his glove. Carrier now tries to center it. Trenum able to send it back, but thrown towards the boards. Good play by Shivas to keep that one in. Trenum now dancing. Throws it behind the net for Cox, who sends it all the way around for Machado once again. Carrier for Sheaves. He's got a lane. Glove save, rebound, controlled by Hamley. He's gonna clear the zone and just fire that one towards the goal. Just gonna give the Trojans a chance to bring it back in. 1:15 left to go on the power play. Carrier drops it back. No one there for the Trojans. Good Johnson just gonna make them go all the way behind their own net once again, as we've now played 4 minutes here in the second period. Still a 1-1 game. Shivas through the entire team, gets onto the end of it once again. Down low, looking for someone to pass it to. Spins around, has a lane, shoots just wide.
Boy, Shivas is just so much fun to watch when he has the puck on his stick.
Turnover though, body is now coming the other way. Short-handed opportunity, it's Sudam. Leaves it, Stolarz, shot, second chance, big save, Boston Billis.
Yeah, Beluis, he is just getting it absolutely perfect positioning there. And my goodness, having to deal with that crazy rebound, that is the exact perfect positioning. Stretching out, using that big frame, that 6'3" frame that he has. A lot of space to move around.
Yeah, Augustana, you know, they only have 2 shorthanded goals on the season, but they nearly had 3 if it wasn't for the glove of Boston Billis. They're able to throw it back down. 30 seconds left to go on the power play. We're gonna see the second power play unit here. It's gonna be Ziegler, who drops it back for Clark. Dylan Clark, who I think a lot of people expect to be a key player for this Trojans team next season, turns it over, shot from the slot there, stopped by Moody, as that was Huber looking for his league-leading 6th power play goal. But instead it's gonna be sent all the way back out, and we're gonna be back to 5-on-5 hockey. Trojans now 1 for 5 here on the power play. Breakout pass misses the skate of a Trojans player, and it's gonna come all the way back down to the near side of your screen off the icing call. 5:17 gone here in the second period.
So going back to what you were saying about Dylan Clark, last year in the AJHL played 58 total games, 58 total points for 2 teams. Played for the Calgary Canucks, ended up getting traded to the Fort McMurray Oilers Barons, and this is why this SAIT Trojans staff, coaching staff, is so excited about him, because he is the guy that played 5 years in the AJHL. That is a high-level league. It is just one step below WHL and that kind of stuff, and he played up against very high-end competition. And for him to be able to do that, and as we're talking about Dylan Clark, he enters the penalty box.
Second time tonight we've seen him. Not 100% sure what the call was, but it's going to be a power play for the Vikings. It's going to be their 3rd opportunity of the game. 0 for 2 so far off that double minor, which again also came to Dylan Clark, who has now 6 penalty minutes on the game. He'll serve 2 or less.
You know what it was? We were saying too many nice things about him. The referees heard us, and they said we can't have any of that.
Trojans win the faceoff. Carson Welke going to send it all the way to the other end of the ice here. Vikings trying to get their power play going. Second in the league this season, only behind SAIT, 25.3%.
So apparently the penalty was a roughing call. Brett, neither of us are referees, so we're not going to judge the calls there, but
I didn't see it, but
anything?
Didn't see it too much, but the referee's arm goes up again. We're going to have something else happening. Another penalty going to be called. And this time, I believe it's going to be Austin Kozlik for the Vikings. And it looks like he's just thrown away that power play for the Vikings. And we're going to be now 4-on-4 for the next minute 26. Dylan Clark let off the hook here once again. He's going to sit for another minute 26, but we're going to have 4-on-4. Vikings now fall to 0-3 on the power play on the game.
I love 4-on-4 hockey because what it does is it opens up the space so much to allow these skilled players to really show their skill. That's why I love it so much. It's just so much fun to watch.
McAdam and Miller out there for the Trojans on that forward line. They got Ziegler and Shivas playing the D-line. Nice breakup play there by Ziegler, reading the play. They're trying to spring Good Johnson, but he couldn't get onto the end of it. Shivas gets there first. Now it's going to be McAdam, leaving it for Ziegler, who sends it back to McAdam. McAdam, one of the 6 seniors playing tonight at seniors night. Schott was looking for a rebound there, but it's Good Johnson now sending it the other way. He takes a shot, gets his own rebound, fires it just up and over.
Shivas was in perfect position to not allow anything off of that rebound, but you know what? You kind of gave me the nod of like, yeah, of course he was in perfect position. We say it so often.
Chase Miller now gains the blue line, drops it back, little pick there for Shivas. Tricky little play, Shivas trying to find some space, leaves it for Trenum. Goes all the way across ice. Ziegler leaves it for behind him. Now they battle along the half boards here on the far left side here of your screen. Trenum with the pinch, wins the puck, drives to the net. Ziegler, backhand, saved by Moody. Trenum now, once again, goes back to the point. Miller to Casey. Casey's gonna dance around, wait for that power play as the extra attacker's gonna come onto the ice now. Vikings, though, able to pick up possession. But a nice play by Carrier in the neutral zone. Was able to hold it up for just a moment. And now Machado, with only 20 seconds of power play time, gonna go through the entire team. Shoots! Big save by Moody, who just got his pad on that one to keep that one out. Keep this a 1-1 game with 12:13 remaining here in the second period.
Yeah, when Brandon Machado skates in with that kind of speed and that kind of power, it is a hard thing to stop. He skates with such ferocity and such velocity. You know, it's mesmerizing sometimes just because he's so quick, but he doesn't look quick, but it just feels quick.
Absolutely. Brandon Machado, discipline, a huge part of his game, and you're going to obviously have discipline when you play at the Royal Military College. So you can tell he's a very disciplined, very smart player, very methodical on the ice. You can see it. As Chase Felgiris goes across to Casey. We're back to 5-on-5. His shot just over the net. Felgiris sends it for Carrier. We're back to 5-on-5, but the Trojans continue to control. Carrier, one-timer. Big pad saved by Moody. Casey, another good job to hold it in at the zone, but now the Vikings come the other way. Hamley tries to go around the outside, attacking Felgiris. Brilliant play by Chase Felgiris to knock that puck off his stick. Chase Felgiris, one of those seniors, he's going to be a huge player that they're going to miss next season. Yeah,
being 6'4", having that big body, true defensive defender. This is one of those guys that SAIT is going to miss. He doesn't put up necessarily what you would want in the stats sheet like Shivas does, but you know what? He is so good on the defensive end, and whenever he's out there, you know SAIT is comfortable with what is going to happen because they have that trust in him.
Icing call on the play. Face-off going to come inside of the Viking zone. It's going to be on the right side of your screen here with 11:11 left to go here in the second period. Shots on goal favoring the Trojans 13-10, but we still find ourselves 1-1 here as we reach the halfway point of this game. Shivas doing a nice job to beat one defender, gets a shot away, but another good save by Daniel Moody. Continuing to show why he's leading the league in goals against with just a .279.
He is an absolute brick wall in the back of the net.
.279 goals against average in the ACAC. Pretty unheard of, as it's a very high-scoring league, but so you gotta love what they've done in goal here for this Vikings team, as Cox now controls, goes all the way across. Shivas feels like he has been absolutely everywhere all night tonight. Ratty does a good job to get back, win that puck. And another penalty being called on the play. It looks like it's going to be a slash being called against Tayden Ratty, who's gonna head to the box for 2 or less. With 10:25 to go, Vikings gonna get their 4th power play opportunity here in this game, as they have an opportunity to try and take the lead here.
Yeah, again, a lot of penalties tonight, and it's kind of one of those nights for the referees where they saw what happened in the first period. It's almost like they're just trying to keep everyone cool and calm and not try to escalate what we saw in the first period when we did have that fight. So they're really just, it almost feels now they're, I don't want to say policing the game a little bit more, they're just trying to be a little bit, I guess, more cautious with it, because they know these boys are going at each other.
Yeah, refs really not going to try to let anything go here for the rest of the game, and clearly they're going to, only take one guy in a lot of situations. They're not going to take a guy from both teams in a lot of these scrums, as Wieshorster tries to control, loses the handle on it. Mackenzie Welke just away here in the power play. Doing a great job on the PK once again. They have been absolute rocks when down a man. Good breakout pass for Phillips. Again, Phillips hanging out at that blue line, able to receive that pass, but he just couldn't get a good shot away.
Yeah, that's one of the things that he's just been specializing in all game long, and it feels like SAIT sometimes forgets that he almost likes to do that. And you know what? They're going to have to really make sure they clean that up for the rest of the game, because it could be a dangerous situation for him if he does finally get that Hail Mary pass.
Sunum sends that one down low for Hamley. Back to Sunum at the point, through a lane, blocked away. 40 seconds left to go here in the power play. It's Sunum at the point. He's going to take a shot, looks for that deflection, but it's straight into the glove of Boston Billis, who hangs on with 34 seconds left to go in the Ratty slashing penalty.
Yeah, going back to Dylan Shivas, one of the reasons why this coaching staff absolutely loves him, he's played 5 years in the QMJHL, with 4 years particularly for the Quebec Rampart. And in that league, it is a very defensive league. It is hard to do a lot of things, so that is one of the things why he is so skilled on that defensive end, while also having that offensive ability.
Puck takes a deflection just up and over the net. Vikings do a good job to keep it in. Roach with a nice, tricky little play there, finds Ripley now, who goes behind the net, looks for a centering pass, sends it back to Ford at the point. Cross ice, Ripley gets it back, scramble in front of the net. Trojans able to recover the puck, send it all the way down. The time is going to expire here on the penalty. Ratty back onto the ice, back to 5-on-5. Nearly too many men. Ratty was skating to the bench, but the puck was coming right to him. One-time shot straight into the Trojans logo on Boston Billis' jersey, who hangs on for another stop. A very tight checking hockey game here, still 1-1 with 8:12 to go in the second.
Yeah, and you know what? This was the game that you and I talked about and we expected pre-game. One of the things we always like to do is like to talk and expect what we can see. This has been exactly what was billed as advertised. It was going to be a defensive battle that was probably going to get a little bit rough and tough. And it's been a fun one to watch. This is my style of hockey game. Maybe, take away some of the rough and tough stuff. But overall, it's been a brilliant one to watch.
Yeah, we love a hard-working hockey game here where goals are hard to come across. 7:53 to go. Puck behind the Vikings net. McAdam, Williamson, both battling for it. 2 of the seniors here tonight. Miller with the steal, tries to get around the defense. Can't do it, but he stays in the play. Chase Miller doing a great job on the forecheck, not giving the Vikings anything. But it is going to be Owen Lamb who comes away with the puck It's the captain for the Vikings who has burned this Trojans team before in the past. Can't get anything going though, and it's Sidaway who gets the play started. Sends it across for Miller. Williamson just can't get onto the end of it. And it's sent all the way back down where Good Johnson gets to it first for the Vikings. Tries to find Charco, loses the handle on it. Good battle there. Carrier was behind the play, just couldn't receive that breakout pass, but he got enough to avoid an icing call. With just under 7 to go, Carrier nearly with a steal, but he's able to break up the pass, and now it's Trojans who are able to bring it back inside the zone.
Yeah, Carrier on that last entry, he kind of saw what the Vikings were doing. He said, hey, I want to try that. And you know what? It almost worked out. The best advantage we've seen in that style of play so far tonight.
Shivas now going to go for another big skate. He drops it off for Carrier. Drives to the net, nearly gets it back. Moody able to get onto the end of that one as Hamley goes crashing into the boards. As he runs into Huber, one of the other Vikings teammates did not like that at all and goes after Huber, but they break that one up.
Yeah, I think Huber's potentially going to be coming to the penalty box for that. Again, we don't like to argue with the referees on this one, but I don't understand that one. It was into each other after the play, and I have no words. That, to me, is an inexcusable call.
Regardless of what we think about the call here, it is going to be another Vikings power play. Still 0 for 4, the Vikings on the night, 0 for 4, their 5th opportunity. And with these top 2 power plays in the league, and with the amount of power plays we've seen, the fact there's only been 1 power play goal is a little bit surprising so far, but the Trojans will look to try and keep it that way as their top-ranked penalty kill is still keeping the Vikings at bay so far. As Sudham, though, he looks for a lane, finds Hamley, throws it down low, can't get onto the end of that one. Was Roach, and it is the Trojans who send it all the way back out to the other end of the ice. Phillips now leaves it for Hamley. He's going to leave it for Roach at the point. Gets it back, centering pass. Sudham through a big pile of bodies, kept in by Roach though. Good job. Opportunity now for Hamley. Toe drags, fires wide. Good offensive pressure here from the Vikings. This is the most offensive zone possession they have had on the power play so far tonight, but they turned it over, and with 1 minute gone in the power play, Carson Wilkie able to throw it all the way down, and the Trojans get some fresh bodies on the ice with just over 5 minutes left here in the second period at Winsport Arena.
Yeah, the Trojans are just doing what you call a pitch-perfect penalty kill. They are getting the puck out of the zone. The only thing that you could say that would be better in this scenario is if they could get a goal.
Hand pass called on the play. Face-off going to come outside of the zone with 37 seconds left to go on the Huber penalty. Of course, both teams now trying to work towards the playoffs. Like we mentioned earlier, Trojans would love to win tonight and bring themselves one step closer to that very important second seed, which would give them a bye through the first round. And they would have some time to rest up here and do a little bit of research on their potential opponents in the second round if they were to finish second. Smalsel now for the Vikings. Leaves it for Siemens. Goes across for Shorik. Loses it in his skates a little bit. Able to get control, throws it towards the net. Easily covered up by Boston Billis with 4.5 left to go in the second period.
Yeah, another textbook save by Lewis there. You know what? He just does such a great job at those expected saves that he needs to make. You know, covering it up, not allowing any rebounds to happen. And this is why the coaching staff loves him so much. They just love their goalie tandem with Spencer Welke out there as well. They know either one of those goalies gives them the chance to win.
Back to 5 aside here as Huber out of the box. Trojans continue to roll that top-ranked penalty kill tonight. Felguera's laying out for that one to try and win that puck, but he can't do it. Billis coming all the way out to try and play that one with a Vikings player all over him. Gets away with it though, but it's controlled once again by the Vikings inside of the zone. Miller now. Finally able to win the puck, gets it to Shivas, who throws it across to Falgiris. Williamson does a good job to just tip it in deep. Miller gets it back for Willie, and he's denied by the glove of Daniel Moody.
Yeah, Williamson, he tried to put that top shelf where Grandma likes to hide the cookies. My, oh my, that was a great save by Moody.
Williamson with 3 goals and 2 assists on the season. He would have loved to have made it perfect number 4. But this game stays 1-1 here. Face-off inside of the Viking zone.
Good job by Sidaway on that face-off.
Absolutely. He has been a rock for them at the face-off dot all season. Huber does a good job, gets it to Clark. Kept in by Ziegler. Goes all the way around the boards. Good Johnson now. Leading scorer on the season for the Vikings. Able to start. Billis, nice breakout pass, finds Sidaway. Sidaway with a little bit of space, partial break. Sidaway on goal, stopped by Moody. Didn't get everything he wanted on that one.
Yeah, Sids is definitely going to want another opportunity at that rebound, but we do have a penalty coming up.
Yeah, Sidaway's going to have to wait as he's going to go to the box, and he takes a bit of a hit as it looked like he threw it towards the goal after the whistle. And now both teams going at it once again. Multiple players involved. Sidaway and Charco really not happy with one another.
Yeah, and now we have another potential couple of words being exchanged. There's going to be a lot to discuss here. Potentially some guys going to the showers early. We're going to have to wait on that official call. But again, what is it about these two teams? We even asked assistant coach Josh Wheaton about that earlier. He goes, the boys just like to talk. That's the best he could give us, and we're going to absolutely have a party here in both of the penalty boxes.
Yeah, I was, during the intermission, I was speaking with assistant athletic director Brody for the Trojans, and he says he's been watching these two teams play for 9 years. It doesn't matter who's wearing the jerseys, but there always seems to be this rivalry that just continues to build and build. As I look behind me and I see 3 Trojans in the box, looks like there's going to be 3 Trojans in the box, 3 Vikings as well, maybe just 2, as I do believe the Vikings are going to go on the power play. But anyways, it's seniors night. It's a very exciting time here for the Trojans. We got 6 great Trojans players who have represented the school brilliantly, playing their final home game. You know they would love to bring an ACAC championship back home to Calgary, back home to SAIT in their final season.
Yeah, and you know what? This is a team that I could very easily do it. When they are on their night, when they are on any particular night, they can win. They just need to make sure that, again, you have nights like this where you don't get a little bit too hot and heavy, but they can win any given night, and they can do it in any sort of fashion. They are comfortable playing any type of game. You want to do high score? We can do high score. You want to do low score? We can do that. You want to keep it very defensive? We'll do that. We're seeing that type of defensive battle here tonight. There's nothing that the SAIT Trojans team isn't comfortable with.
We might at some point see these two teams even battle again in the playoffs. They met last year in the playoffs as well in that first round, and it was the Vikings who came away with the upset, winning both games to sweep that series. And you know the Trojans have, for the players who have come back this season, that playoff performance has really stuck in their heads, and they have come out so motivated this season, as they have shown with that record of 13-7-1, putting up 85 goals, just really being menaces all over the ice. And those fresh bodies that they brought in have really paid dividends, as we've seen in especially Machado and Trenum and Sidaway and Carrier. Brilliant players who have led this team on the offensive side and have allowed players like the Welkies to maybe not have to play as many minutes as they did last season. And now this team can roll 4 lines and they have been so great this season, and it's been so fun, and I'm so glad that I get to be back here tonight calling them.
Yeah, and you know what? We got to give a huge shout out to Evan Lee, who was able to bring all these guys in. I've had the experience of working with him away from SAIT games, and just the extra effort that I see that he puts into all this type of stuff. And Dylan Clark is coming to the penalty box as well. He might just be
he's bringing some water. Yeah, he's bringing some water.
Giving the boys a drink, but he actually looks like he's come to hang out.
Yeah.
So we're going to have 4 SAIT Trojans. It is an absolute fiesta in there.
4-minute power play, though, now for the Vikings. 0 for 5 tonight on the power play. Opportunity to both take the lead and finally get that power play goal they've been looking for. Centering pass right in front. Not able to get onto the end of that one. Were the Vikings. Sudam at the point. Gets it right back. Looks for a lane. It's Roach now. Back to Sudam. Hamley now. Throws it down low. Phillips trying to just throw it in front. Vikings do hold it in the zone. But it comes out now. Potential opportunity the other way. Welke goes crashing into George Hay. And with 2 minutes to go, Trojans doing a good job on that PK once again, but Hamley trying to rip through every member of the Trojans penalty kill. Steered aside, but they're unable to clear the zone. And it's Sudam now, sending it through, and it sneaks through for a goal. As the Vikings finally break through on the power play. And they make this a 2-1 game with 1:52 left in the second period.
Yeah, when you have this many power plays, sooner or later one's going to go in. No fault to Lewis on that one. When you just have so many shots like this and you're just a man down this many times, it's tough to deal with. But now the SAIT Trojans, they're really going to have to knuckle down deep and play a really smart defensive hockey game and really just try to find a way to get that equalizer back.
Yeah, still 2 minutes of penalty killing time to go for the Trojans as they were not able to kill off the first half of that double minor. Moody comes out to play it. They nearly lose it, but they are able to keep control of the puck. And it's going to be Siemens now, skating up the ice. Throws it all the way around. Good Johnson gets to it first. Felgiris all over him, trying to win that puck back. They're able to get it back to the point. It's going to be Siemens now on it. Throws it across. Stollery, his shot through traffic. Doesn't get through. Good Johnson. It's Owen Lamb now, skating behind the net. Got 2 Trojans all over him. Puck comes free. Still behind the net though. All the way back to Jackson Siemens. Throws it down low.
So getting the official words from some of the players here, you know, getting a little bit of hand communication, a little sign language. They're telling me there's 3 players on 10-minute penalties, and then obviously Sidaway has that 4-minute penalty.
30 seconds left to go here in the second period.
So clearly there's going to be 3 guys for both sides getting that 10-minute.
Yeah, not what you want to hear. Be a lot of going to be a lot of double shifting going on for both teams here in this third period. Puck comes all the way back to the point. Sudam once again, his shot through traffic. Billis is able to get in front of that one and cover it up with 11 seconds left to go in the second period. 19 left on the penalty to Sidaway.
Yeah, this one's going to be officially going into the third period, we think, unless something changes. But a lot of the boys in the box, you know, they're communicating with each other, trying to figure it out.
Face-off won by the Trojans. Carrier's going to have all day to just fire it down to the other end of the ice, and that is going to do it. Second, 2 goals from the Vikings put them ahead after 40 minutes. Trojans still 9 seconds of penalty time coming into the third here. They're going to need to really buckle down here if they want to get back into this one and level this game up. With 20 minutes to go though, still plenty of hockey left to be played here at Winsport Arena.
Yeah, and this is going to be a really key and crucial third period for the boys. Obviously, they don't feel like they've been getting some of the calls tonight. You and I have had our thoughts on some of the penalties, but they're going to really have to buckle down, make sure they keep it nice and clean, and just focus on what they know how to do, which they can score at any given moment. They've had their opportunities. Necessarily, they haven't had the same level of puck luck, but this third period is going to be very crucial.
Yeah, you know that Coach Strader's going to come out and he's going to motivate this team to come out firing in the third. And like we said, there's still a full 20 minutes to go. There is so much hockey left to be played here at Winsport, but we will be back for third period action in 15 minutes time here at Winsport Arena. Hello and welcome back to ACAC men's hockey action right here on ACAC TV. We got third period action coming up for you between the University of Alberta Augustana Vikings, who currently hold a 2-1 lead over your SAIT Trojans, who are looking to get back into this one and tie this game up here in the third. I'm Brett Lukowski. I've got the call for you here in the third. Of course, joined by my good friend and colleague, Brendan Donald. Brendan, 2 goals in that second period from the Vikings, giving them the lead here. Very undisciplined period from both teams. A lot of extracurriculars, a lot of penalty minutes, just like last night. What do the Trojans have to do here in the third period to get back in this one?
I feel like I'm going to be a broken record saying this. I said this at the beginning of the game. I said this at the end of the first, the start of the second, the end of the second. You just got to be disciplined. And going into this later half, obviously once we have 3 SAIT Trojans serving 10-minute penalties, so you just really need to have the guys out there, have quick shifts, not have too many tired legs out there. And once you do have everyone back, not even just once you have everyone back, start from this moment, making sure that you are playing with your head on properly, making sure it's screwed in properly. No, you are not going to, things might start to get a little bit emotional. You got to take that back. You got to stay out there. Last Friday, this SAIT Trojans team was down by 2 goals. A penalty allowed them to tie it up and eventually win that game. So penalties late in this third period could be the difference maker.
Trojans going to try to send a message as they send out their top line, Machado and Trenum, with Casey and Shivas. Hamley gains his own. Clark out of the box. We're back to 5-on-5. Hamley drives to the net. It's denied by the blocker of Billis, as now Trenum sends it across. One-time attempt by Machado just goes wide. Phillips now, 1-on-1. Knocked off the puck by Shivas with another defensive play.
Yeah, Conrad Phillips coming in with a lot of speed on that. Great job by the defense to not allow any extra play.
Stollery shot well wide, but Billis comes out and claims it as he grabs it with the glove. 40 seconds gone. Shots on goal so far, 16 apiece, but it's the Vikings who have been able to get one extra one past the goalie. SAIT gonna have to work hard if they want to get another one past. Daniel Moody currently leads the league in goals against average on the season.
And leads it in a positive way.
Yes, 2.79. Having a great season are the goalies for the Vikings. Rhett Brook also having a great year, leading the league with a .917 save percentage. So they're 1 and 2 in those 2 categories, those 2 Vikings goalies. As the Vikings now try to clear the puck out of the zone, unable to. Got the Welkies out there with Dylan Cox. Long pass, broken up in the neutral zone by Cox.
That was a great stick to just continue to allow them to get back in the zone. Let's see what they can do here.
Doesn't look like it as it goes up and into the netting, and it's going to be a whistle on the play. Some fresh bodies going to head to the ice. And,
it would be a broadcast where you and I do something where as soon as we say it's going to be this, and then the opposite happens.
Absolutely.
We haven't done a commentator's curse yet, so we'll wait for somehow that's going to bite us in the butt here in the third. But hopefully it goes SAIT way.
Face off just outside of the Vikings blue line here. Miller able to win it, but he can't win it far enough back, and it's Ripley flying out to win it, but he turns it over at the blue line. Trojans now 3-on-2 the other way. Williamson goes cross ice. One-time pass, McAdam just misses wide. They were looking for that tic-tac goal play again, but this time just sending it wide was Cam McAdam. Loose puck though. McAdam another opportunity denied.
We're really starting to get to the point where it feels like the only way SAIT's going to score is that you're going to have to find that grindy, greasy goal. And it's been that kind of game, though.
Potential 2-on-1 the other way, though. Good Johnson gets around one man, finds Ripley, backhand, stopped by Billis. Shivas now chips it up through the neutral zone, comes Cam McAdam. Tries to just throw it towards the net where Williamson was driving. Carrier sends it back to Williamson. Felgiris throws it down low. Turnover now behind the net. Centering pass looking for Carrier was Trenum, but broken up, and the Vikings come the other way. Hamley now down low. He's looking for Georget, but it's turned over. Now Trenum the other way. Tries to go across from Carrier, just a little bit out of his reach. Trojans now look to set up in the offensive zone. Centering pass, broken up. Trojans still on it though, but it's sent all the way down to the other end of the ice, but that's going to be an icing call with 16:47 left to go here in the third period. Trojans still looking for that equalizing goal.
Yeah, they've been putting up a lot of pressure here, and they've had a couple of opportunities. They're just waiting on that puck luck, and it feels at the moment like we're just on the verge of getting that equalizer.
This Trojans team's gonna keep fighting, keep pressing here. The Welkies back out there. We might see a lot of Dylan Shivas here in the third period. Shot from the point blocked away. Dylan Cox now takes it the other way. Nice pass, Mackenzie Welke from the right side, tries to center it, and they score on the one-time play. And the Trojans tie it up, and it's Zach Cox once again picking up another goal on the season. Make it a dozen for the former Viking. We got a tie game, and the boys in the box next to us are loving it.
Yeah, you know, what a way to get your dozen goals so far this year against your former team, and just to tie it up in what is just such an emotional game.
And that's exactly what this Trojans team has to do. They have to channel those emotions into a positive manner on the ice here, and they've shown that they can do that here early on as they tie this game up at deuce apiece. Ziegler now. Puck goes off a skate, and it's sent all the way back down to the other end of the ice for another icing call here. Shots on goal, 18 all, 2 goals apiece. It's about as even of a game as you could ask for here at Winsport tonight.
Yeah, and you know, again, we expected this type of game. After what we saw in last night's game where it was a 3-3 tie, we knew these two teams were going to come in with a lot of physicality. Both teams were not going to allow a lot to happen, and it's just been an amazingly fun defensive battle here between these two really fun, exciting squads coming in late in the season.
Yeah, both teams only with 2 games left to go on the schedule after tonight before the playoffs. As Shorik gains his own, he has a bit of a lane there, but with no bodies in front, Bill is going to see that the whole way. And it's Ziegler now, leaves it for Felgiris. McAdam trying to react to that pass and was waiting for it to come to him. Had it turned over, led to an opportunity for the Vikings, but another big save for Billis, who keeps this game tied in what has been a very heated affair between 2 very good hockey teams here in the Alberta Colleges Athletics Conference. Face-off to come on the left of your screen here, to the goaltender's right. Face-off is won by the Trojans. Breakout pass trying to find Machado, but that's going to be an icing call, and they're going to do it all over again here with just about 5 minutes gone here in the third period at Winsport. Trojans going to play back-to-back nights as they travel next week to Saskatchewan for back-to-back road games against the Briarcrest Clippers.
Yeah, that's going to be very crucial at the end of the year, just to make sure you end the year off on the right foot, because you always want to enter the playoffs off of a little bit of a winning streak. That's one thing that we saw from this team last year. They went into the playoffs on a losing streak. They didn't have their confidence, and they got defeated 2-0 against this very same team.
And basically every team in the ACAC are still battling for positioning, as the playoff picture is anything but confirmed right now with still 3 games to go. A lot of teams could end up in a lot of different positions. As picking up the puck there is Smallsell gaining the zone, but he's 1-on-3. But Good Johnson joins the rush here for the Vikings on that forecheck, but it's Chivas again, another nice calm and composed play as he finds Machado, but then the Trojans set right back behind their net once again, as Billis just gonna leave that one. And it's Chivas once again, kind of gets it lost in his equipment, but Mackenzie Welke comes back to support. Gains the center ice, just throws it up and off the glass, and then he's gonna chase after it himself as the rest of his line comes out there. This is brother Carson and Zach Hawks, the goal scorer, join the rush here for the Trojans. Puck though inside SAIT zone. Felgiris can't clear it out. Shot just wide of the net. Cox tries to play it off the glass and out, unable to do so. But it's gonna be Ziegler now, finding Cox once again. Dances around a defender, goes down low, sends it along the boards, bounces off of the stick of Carson Welke. Trojans have to go all the way back behind their net once again, with 6.5 gone here in the final frame. These two teams battled to a 3-3 tie last night, and they are still all square. And now their 6th period of play, plus a couple of overtimes as well.
Not even in 24-hour time span.
Their 4th and final meeting of these two teams this season. Trojans won the first 2 before tying that 3rd one. Billis gonna hang on to that one for another whistle.
Obviously, SAIT is able to come back, tie this game up. One thing I want them to do is I want them to keep putting the foot down on the pedal, because obviously you still have to get the game winner. You don't want to go into this game overtime, because obviously we saw what happened yesterday. They couldn't decide that in overtime, so ended up with the tie, and you just really want to make sure that you keep that momentum running and going when you have it.
Puck is gonna go all the way down to the other end of the ice, and this 3rd period kind of slowing down to a bit of a crawl right now, as we now find ourselves with yet another icing call. 7 minutes gone, and another defensive zone face-off here for the Trojans. Their grinder line out there once again, McAdam, Miller, Williamson, with Chivas and Casey, who, have they even left the ice here in the 3rd period tonight, Brendan?
It doesn't really feel like it. It feels like they go on the bench, they just do a quick walk to the other side and then come back on. That's kind of what it has felt. But then again, when you have 2 really top-end defenders like Casey and like Chivas, do you really ever want them to not have to be off the ice if they don't want to?
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, it appears, you know who we actually haven't seen, Caden Schmier, in quite a while. We saw him go back to the dressing room midway through the 1st period. We haven't seen him since. I do believe right now, as it stands, I think the Trojans are rolling with only 4 defensemen. I think Taden Ratty's been playing a couple of shifts on the D-line once in a while, but for the most part, they're just rolling with 4. Chivas, Casey, Felgiris, and Ziegler.
We've also seen Trentham go into the back line a couple times as well. But yeah, Schmier, I saw him midway through the 2nd period, making his way to the locker room. We haven't seen him back on the bench since.
Try to get you an update if we can, but hopefully everything is all right there for Caden Schmier, and he's going to be able to come play next week when the team travels to Saskatchewan and takes on Briarcrest. Caden Schmier, the 1st-year businessman, mid-student from Vancouver, came to this team with some professional experience. Played pro hockey in the 3rd division of Sweden last year. Big shot block there by Williamson, who's going to go all the way down to chase it.
Which is just great experience to have and great effort. He can come in and help out these other teammen like Chivas and just give them tips of what like the professional game is like. Obviously, it's not the top league in the world, but it's still professional hockey. And you know what? It's still great effort.
Loose puck, one-timer, and it's fired home by Mans. Plays the bounce off the boards perfectly. And Billis unable to react in time. And it's going to be number 26, Tanner Mans, with a wide open net, putting the Vikings back on top with 12:07 to go here in the third.
One thing I want to see from the SAIT Trojans team immediately off the face-off, come out with energy, push this puck into their zone, and get a shot on Moody right away. That is the way that you take away the confidence that this Vikings team just got back.
We are going to see Taden Ratty out there for a defensive zone shift here, as the Trojans send out their top forward line once again. Trenum tries to find a man in front as Machado is streaking. Moody able to easily just steer that one aside. Puck takes a deflection off the boards. Ratty back to retrieve it. Ziegler battling for it. Vikings holding the zone. Trying the centering pass was good Johnson, but there were no players from the Vikings there. Carrier now, breakout pass. Trenum tries to get around one defender. And it was Wieshorster coming back to break that one up. Casey now. Through the neutral zone, gains the line, drops it for Machado, who just throws it down low. Miller sends it for Huber, who's knocked off the puck. Vikings now come the other way. Dumping it down low, and chasing after it is Kozluk. Puck held in at the line, sorry. And it's Huber now. Leaves it for Falgiris. Nice play by Huber to gain the zone, get around Shorik. He takes a shot wide of the net. Gonna come all the way back out to center, and Shivas back out there, who's now playing with Falgiris, as the Trojans now seem to be swapping up their D-lines a little bit. And as I say that, we got Ziegler coming back out on the ice. Shivas just can't quite keep it in. Ziegler fresh on the ice, able to retrieve it right away.
I wish we had the advanced analytics just to see the exact amount of time Shivas has been on, because he just never seems to be off.
Yeah, he's been out there for, it's got to be somewhere well over 20 minutes already tonight. There's still 10 to go.
I would say he's probably getting very close to 30.
Shivas just fires that one towards the goal and straight into the waiting glove of Daniel Moody. Halfway through the third period, Trojans were able to tie this game up just a couple minutes in, but then it was Tanner Mans putting the Vikings back ahead with a goal from right out in front of the net off of a bounce on the backboards, giving the Vikings that lead back.
I will say Tanner Sidaway still in the penalty box. You gotta wonder. I was under the impression he was serving a 10-minute major.
I think it was the 4 plus the 10, so I think he should be out pretty much after the next whistle. It's gonna be Roach dumping it in and chasing after it. Ziegler now leaves it. Shivas throws it off into the boards. A little bit get up. Okay. And Carson Welke, just as Sidaway exits the box and heads back to the bench, we're gonna have a penalty called on the play, and I think it's gonna be Carson Welke who's gonna be taking the place here, and that is the first penalty of the period now, but it comes at an inopportune time as Carson's gonna head to the box for 2 minutes or less. I think it might have been a cross-check, as it looked like he got his stick up towards the face of the Vikings player there. But
to be honest with you, I thought we could have seen a call on the Vikings there, on the shot, on the hit on Cox. And, you know, our good friend and our favorite show to watch, Shorzy, he says, I'm always going to call the retaliation. And you know what? They called the retaliation on that one. And a 4-minute major for Carson Welke. Yep.
Yeah, 4-minute double minor, so that's going to be a big opportunity here for the Vikings to try and find an insurance goal. Georgier able to center it. Phillips right in on Billis. Big save. Loose puck, though. McAdam tries to shovel it towards the exit there, but it's held in by the Vikings once again, as Mackenzie Welke finally gets onto the end of that one, just throws it the other end of the ice. They've killed off 40 seconds so far of the power play. Trojans leading the league with 6 shorthanded goals on the season. You know they're going to have to try and play a little bit aggressively right now if they want to tie this game up. They've got to kill off 3 more minutes of power play time for the Vikings.
And what a time that it's almost Christmas. He's got to be hoping. But
Machado now gains the zone, leaves it. Shivas dances around defenders. Backhand stopped by Moody. What a play, Dylan Shivas dancing around defenders.
He is just magical with the puck on his stick. He just skates around. He gets skinny with it. My oh my, are we sure he's a defenseman?
Yeah, just couldn't quite get enough good wood on that backhand and couldn't get it past Moody, but brilliant play there by the D-man as the Trojans doing exactly what we said, try to play a little more aggressively, down a man right now, and down a goal with just over 8 to go. Long pass for Roach, tries to get around one man, but he can't get around the second. But they gain the zone now. They've got numbers. Good Johnson from the right circle, centering, and they fire it home. And with 7:59 to go here in the third, it's Tanner Mans for the second time in a row, doubling the advantage for the Vikings. And the Trojans, second time now, not able to kill off the first half of the power play, and they're going to be shorthanded for 2 more. They now find themselves in quite a hole with 8 to go.
Again, one thing that I talked about at the beginning of the period is making sure that you're staying out of the box and how crucial that was. And again, the first penalty of this period just happens to be the one that's just making this a little bit trickier. We do say a 2-goal advantage is the most dangerous lead in hockey because of how much it gives you a little bit of an insurance feel. So maybe, say, last Friday, can we see it this Saturday?
Vikings finally able to gain control of the puck, and they're going to skate all the way down. That's Siemens going coast to coast, round behind the net. He loses the handle on it though, and it's Sidaway able to flip it out to center, and he's going to chase after it himself. Stollery able to get back there first. His long breakout pass finds Wieshorster. Vikings really able to utilize that player hanging out at the blue line once again for that long outlet pass. But the Trojans able to force a turnover, and now it's going to be Welke. Gets around one man, leaves it for Ziegler, fires it just wide. As Ziegler was up in front, the defenseman, it was actually both defensemen on the play there. It was Shivas and Ziegler leading the offensive rush shorthanded for the Trojans. As now Roach, defender himself, gains the zone, throws it across, but there's no one there. But it's held in by Sudom. Felgiris flips it forward. McAdam. It's one-on-one. Felgiris racing towards the net. He's got his stick lifted. And the Vikings able to come away with numbers now. 3-on-2. Centering pass. Felgiris does a great job to get back into the play and deny that opportunity. As McAdam able to clear that puck out of the zone. With 6 minutes to go, we're going to be back to 5-on-5 as Carson Welke exits the box. Trojans now with a big hill to climb with 6 to go. Shorek now from the high slot. He fires it past Billis. And Cameron Shorek with an absolute dagger with 5:44 to go, puts the Vikings up by 3 late here in the third.
Yeah, this has just been an absolute emotional game all day long, and unfortunately, I think the emotions for the SAIT Trojans maybe have gotten the better of them in this game, and just some bad luck, unfortunately, as well.
Yeah, can't blame them too much there. A couple of really good bounces going the way of the Vikings, as well as just some sharp shooting there from the defenseman, and as Shorek was able to fire that one blocker side on Billis. And another free shot there, opportunity, is scramble, but they can't fire it home, and as they could not get onto the end of that puck. Williamson chasing after it now the other way. Trojans gonna need one in a hurry if they want to get back into this. Played up the boards. Ziegler now. Puck takes a deflection and is sent back out to center. Miller brings that one in, but he's just offside. And I gotta say, personally, what the Vikings have done really well tonight is shut down that top line of Machado, Trenum, and Carrier, as their only goal of the night came on that power play. 5-on-5, they haven't let this team do anything on that from that top line.
Yeah, it almost felt like after that power play goal earlier in the first period, they were like, you know what, we are no longer allowing these guys to have any sort of advantage against us. And you know what, they've just been doing a phenomenal job.
Ratty knocks his man off the puck, gonna go back to retrieve it. Machado holds that one along the boards, throws it back. And we do see this top line once again. Trenum tries to go around two men, he has it turned over, and now it's Owen Lamb the other way. Lamb has that one knocked off his stick by Ratty. A great play by the makeshift defender tonight, as he's had to really fill in on that back line, as they've been down to 4 for much of this game.
One thing I will say is that we haven't seen much of Chivas in the last little bit, just as he's been off, probably getting a well-deserved rest, what felt like he was on for a full 10 minutes.
Trojans trying to get anything going right now offensively late in this game. Puck goes all the way down to the other end of the ice. Clark now leaves it for Huber. They go 2-on-2. Huber driven into the boards there as he's forced into the corner. Puck thrown out to the middle there. Held in by Falgiris. Trojan just trying to shovel it towards the goal. There's an empty net, and it finds the back of it. As Reese Bremner throws it all the way down to the other end of the ice. And that is going to just about put a lid on this one, as the score is now 6-2 with 3.5 left to go. Here in the third period at Winsport Arena, Vikings picking up a huge win. It's going to improve their record to 11-7-2. It's going to put them in a really tight battle with the Nadukes for third place in the ACAC.
And you know what? This was just the exact type of game that the Vikings knew they needed to play. They knew this was going to be emotional. They were fine with that, and they just played really, really well in this environment.
Chivas just throws it down low. As for the Trojans now, they get a few days off, go to their classes, and then they got to pick up and travel about 6-7 hours there to Caronport, Briarcrest College in Saskatchewan. 2 big games to close out their regular season before the playoffs come, as both teams are going to be battling for positioning in the ACAC standings when they come back next weekend. Turnover there, Conrad Phillips nearly all alone, but Billis comes out to deny an opportunity there to the speedy number 91 in white. Carson Welke now drives down, tries to fire that one wide, and it goes out of play.
Yeah, right now for the SAIT Trojans, unless something magical happens here in the last 2:28, it's really just trying to find positives late in the game. And if you can get a goal, that's going to put a little bit more of a smile on your face, walking to the dressing room, and just building on good habits at this point.
And you know, it's this is the 4th time these two teams have played, and it's hard to keep a team from beating you that many times in a season, especially teams that are this evenly matched. So I don't think the Trojans are going to look at this result too much and think about it too negatively. They're a strong group. They're a experienced, mature group. They're going to come back next week, play 2 hard-fought games in Saskatchewan. They're going to gear themselves up for the playoffs. And I think they're really going to try to put their focus on the playoffs. And like we said, it looks like all roads now are going to lead through Red Deer, who have been a great team this season. And the Trojans are going to get a late power play opportunity here, as it is going to be Jackson Siemens. Oh, it's going to be, number 77, Jacob Johnson, heading to the box. Trojans going to get a chance to try and get one back here with just under 2 to go.
And yeah, at this point, you really just got to start looking at Briarcrest next week and just looking at it going, you know what, this day we weren't on our best behavior. We didn't play our best game, but we need to focus for next week and really, really put our efforts into that and try to give and end this season on a high note like we've seen them play.
Chivas now throws it through traffic, takes a deflection just wide. Cox chasing after it, he's behind the net now. 3 Trojans battling for it, 6 men behind the net. Machado comes away with it. He's gonna retreat back to the blue line, throws it across ice for Trenum. Carrier now behind the net, leaves it for Cox, but he's beaten to the puck by Stollery. Trojans though do get it back. Sheaves through traffic, blocked in front, and sent all the way back down to the other end of the ice. As we enter the final minute of play here at Winsport Arena, the result pretty much decided at this point, but the Trojans would love to get one back here to close out the game. As it's gonna be Ziegler now behind his own net, getting this one going. Gonna leave it. It's gonna be Mackenzie Welke. Knocked off the puck. Good play in the neutral zone there by Ford, who wins the puck, wins it back again, and just throws it to the other end of the ice.
Well, Brett, even though at this point you're not going to get 3 goals in 30 seconds, it would be one of the most exciting hockey games if they did.
Centering pass just misses Williamson.
Yeah, this has just been, like the first 2 periods, obviously they were a grind. They were back and forth, a lot of action. Obviously, Drayden, he's probably going to go back to the locker room and say, hey, we need to just make sure that we keep cool heads, guys. And other than that, if we do that, we win this game. And you just got to hope that if these 2 teams meet in the playoffs, that these cool heads can stay calm moving forward.
And the buzzer goes to signal the end of this game tonight here at Winsport Arena. The final score going to favor the Augustana Vikings by a score of 6-2. 4 third-period goals to close this one out to really, really solidify themselves and get that first win in 4 opportunities against the Trojans. Trojans now fall to 13-8-1 on the season, still second place in the ACAC. Both teams gonna line up here at the blue lines for the player of the game.
I'm interested to see who the official players of the games are going to be because, you know, we have our opinions here, but then
it's going to be Jacob Johnson picking up player of the game honors for the Vikings.
And for the Trojans, number 16, Zach Cox.
And it's going to be Zach Cox, the former Viking, picked up that big third period goal. He's going to win player of the game, much deserved. Picked up his 12th goal of the year, make it a dozen for the big man. And that is going to do it for regular season action here at Winsport Arena for the SAIT Trojans. Closing out the season on the road next weekend in Briarcrest, we mentioned that earlier. And that is going to be everything, and we're not going to see you back here until the playoffs. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be a good time. What are you looking forward to seeing, Brendan, when this team comes back here, when the playoffs come?
This is a very, very skilled team. They are skilled offensively. They are skilled defensively. They are a fun team to watch, and I'm expecting just to see them get back to what they do well. And what that is just forcing the opponents into their own zone and really keeping them there. But tonight, that just wasn't the recipe, and they just didn't have that on their way. But you know what? It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to call it.
Absolutely. We are looking forward to the playoffs here at SAIT. Cannot wait for it. But until then, that is officially all we have for you here on ACAC TV from the SAIT Trojans side of things here for the regular season. We will see you back at the playoffs. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good night.